What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and once again I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40k. In today's video, we are going to be going over the forces of chaos as I talk about the things that I love and the things that I wish GW would change. This is a little series that I started back in Thanksgiving where I talk about the awesomeness of the Space Marines and what can be done better. So I've covered all the Space Marines and I've covered all the Xenos. So today we're going to be talking about chaos and all things heretical. So say a curse word or two to the God Emperor because that will solidify your place in the realm of chaos. And with that being said, let's dive in. So first off, let's start with Chaos Demons. The Chaos Demon army is one that's kind of... I always lop it with Chaos Space Marines. I almost never see it as its own thing. And that's because, in my opinion, they're not very good. Maybe in 9th edition that has changed. But most demons just have a 5-up invuln save. And that's not strong enough to keep them in real space. Because they're going to get shot off and they're going to just go back to the Immaterium. However, it's really awesome to see the interesting designs and overall just the grotesqueness that is chaos. For the Khorne Bloodletters, those are pretty awesome. They're the kind of cliche demon when you think of a demon. Moving over to the Nurgle stuff, those are just revolting. If you hate body horror, you're not gonna like these guys. But on the tabletop, they're very resilient, so they're good for taking objectives. With Khorne, like the Bloodletters and stuff, they're glass cannons. They hit hard, but they can't take a hit, so you gotta play them kind of strategically. Moving over to Tzeentch, these are kind of your psychic guys. They're, I don't know why, but they're like half fish, half avian creatures, and they're really strong when it comes to casting psychic powers. So they're essentially the support / range portion of your Chaos Demon army. And then finally, we come to Slanash. The one that always gets left behind by GW, which I can see why, but at the same time I wish this wasn't a thing, because Slaanesh is all about perfection, being the best you can be, but also it's about tits and ass. So it's a fine line that GW isn't really crossing, they're just kind of like ignoring it. So I don't know, because in terms of gameplay, they're fast, they're aggressive, and they got interesting like types of abilities that allow them to either attack again or to just deal more AP damage. It's a very fun army, but I just wish there was more to it than that. Seekers of Slaanesh are pretty cool, but hopefully we get to see some improvements, some more models, anything really, once the Demon Primarch Fulgrim makes his return. When it comes to the Chaos Space Marines, I've been playing them for the past 2 editions, and they're a very fun, diverse army. If you like Space Marines, but you don't want to be seen as a Mary Sue, this is your next best bet. They don't get all the benefits that a Space Marine army does, but what they do make up for in that is that you get really awesome chaotic demon engines. In my opinion, the demon engines is what sold chaos for me. You've got Defilers, Decimators, Hellbrutes, the list goes on and on and on, and it just gets even better when you look at all the models available to you via Forge World. And not just that, but I think the conversions are where you can just go wild. Anything chaotic, anything spiky, anything grotesque really works with this aesthetic for chaos, and it's just oh so fun to play around with the lore. On the tabletop, they're going to get better, since they're going to be going up to 2 wound Marines, 3 wound Terminators, so right now they're kind of on the back burner. Like if you play Chaos, you're kind of playing with 1 foot in the grave, but it kind of fits the lore since Chaos always gets pushed back, which I don't think that should be the case. Because when you take a Space Marine and you take a Chaos Space Marine, the Chaos Space Marine should be better because they've got boons from the Chaos Gods. But, of course, they're not the poster boys, so they end up getting their asses kicked left and right. So, all in all, Chaos Space Marines are fun. So now let's dive into the other two, I guess, supplements or codices that you can get via the Chaos Space Marines, and that is the Death Guard and the Thousand Suns. So the Thousand Suns are amazing if you're trying to just cast mortal wounds left and right. You could really have a great time with Demon Princes, Exalted Sorcerers, and of course, Magnus the motherfucking Red. This guy is a beast, and you should be doing great with this army. However, 9th edition has given you the middle finger via secondary objectives that just say F you if you play Grey Knights or Thousand Suns, because if you're a psyker, you're just going to be giving up tons of points to your opponent because of the secondary objectives. So that is kind of a downside to having a strong psychic army, but you can kind of play around with it. It's fun nonetheless. Death Guard is another one that you can play, all Death Guard specific, because you do have access to Mortarion, another Primarch that has transcended into a Prince of Chaos. So the cool thing about the Death Guard is that they're tough, they're resilient, they're here to just outlast the enemy and spread Nurgle's poxes throughout your enemy's lines. So the cool thing about this is that we're technically getting new rules for all of these special abilities for Nurgle. If you go to the Warhammer community page, the last 3 or 4 articles have been just new rules getting implemented into this army because the Codex is about to drop. Well, it was about to drop, but because of Nurgle, aka COVID, it got pushed back to early next year. Kind of a little funny how that works, how your own Chaos God is causing your own book to be pushed back. But woe is me. Either way, I can't wait to see the overall nerfs and buffs to what the Death Guard get, because I hear that Demon Engines are going to get way stronger. So my Chaos Space Marines might be allying towards Nurgle in the coming edition. I will just have to wait and see once the codices are fully dropped to see what are the good things and what are the bad things for these two armies. And then finally, we come to the last force of Chaos, and that is the Chaos Knights as well as the Renegade Knights. I always overlook these because when you think of like Chaos, you don't really think about Knights and Titans and Warhounds and stuff like that. So basically it's the exact same thing as Imperial Knights, just a little bit more chaotic. Again, you can kind of go more in depth with conversions and whatnot, making them more grotesque looking, because I've seen some pretty badass Chaos Knights. I don't know really too much about the pluses and minuses about these guys, because even though I do have an Imperial Knight, I rarely use him. In my opinion, he's too expensive for what he can do, or maybe that's just me rolling a whole bunch of 1s and 2s, so I don't really get to see the full experience of wielding the Chaos Knight on the battlefield. With that being said, I should use it more often to see if maybe it's better now in 9th edition than it was in 8th, but we'll just have to wait and see. So this is where I talk to you guys and ask you, are Knights for good? Let me know in the comments. What are a good way to play them? What's something that I should be avoiding when using a Knight? And can't wait to read those responses. And with that being said, we've once again come to the end of yet another 40 Facts video. No, it's not really a 40 Facts video, it's a big discussion. I don't know, review, I guess, that makes more sense. So all in all, this was my opinion on the Forces of Chaos. If you want to know what I thought about the Xenos of 40k, as well as the Space Marines of 40k, I'll be sure to link those two at the end of the video so you guys can catch that. And also stay subscribed because we've got one more in this little mini-series on the armies of the Imperium. So that's everything else minus Space Marines that the Imperium has to offer, such as the Adeptus Custodes, Sisters of Silence, etc. So let me know your thoughts below. What do you think about the Forces of Chaos? And that's all I got. Be sure to hit that thumbs up and stay subscribed for more things 40k. And as always, I have been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll be catching you guys in the next one. Peace.